The Complete History of the Vikings. Introduction. Imagine standing on the rocky coast of northern England more than 1200 years ago. The morning is quiet, waves gently crash against the shore, and the monks of a small monastery begin another peaceful day. Then, someone notices dark shapes appearing on the horizon. At first, they seem like ordinary fishing boats, but as they move closer, long wooden ships emerge from the morning mist, their carved dragon heads sliced through the sea, while rows of warriors pull their oars with perfect rhythm. The silence is broken by the sound of shields, axes, and battle cries. Within minutes, everything changes. The raiders show no mercy. Buildings burn. Treasures disappear. The survivors can hardly believe what they have witnessed. These mysterious warriors came from the frozen lands of Scandinavia, and before long, all of Europe would know their name. The Vikings. For centuries, they have been remembered as fearless warriors and ruthless raiders. Popular culture often portrays them as savage men, wearing horned helmets, driven only by violence and conquest. But the truth is far more fascinating. The Vikings were not only warriors, they were skilled sailors, talented craftsmen, fearless explorers, successful merchants, and remarkable shipbuilders. They crossed oceans that many believed impossible to navigate, reached North America centuries before Columbus, founded kingdoms, established trade routes stretching from the Arctic to the Middle East, and left behind a legacy that still shapes our world today. So who were the Vikings, really? Where did they come from? What transformed ordinary farmers into the most feared seafarers of the Middle Ages? And how did their incredible age finally come to an end? This is the complete story of the Vikings. Chapter 1. The People from the North. Long before Europe feared their arrival, the Vikings lived quiet lives across the rugged landscapes of modern-day Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. Life in Scandinavia was anything but easy. The winters were long, dark, and bitterly cold. Snow covered the mountains for months, while much of the land was too rocky to support large farms. Families worked tirelessly simply to survive. Every summer mattered, because the food harvested during those few warm months had to last through the endless winter. Most people were farmers. Others fished the icy seas, or hunted in the dense northern forests. Children learned practical skills from an early age. Boys often trained with bows, axes, and boats, while girls helped manage farms, weave clothing, and prepare food. Every member of the family had an important role, because survival depended on cooperation. Although life was difficult, Scandinavian society was surprisingly organized. Communities gathered regularly to settle disputes, create laws, and make important decisions. These meetings, known as the Thing, allowed even ordinary free men to voice their opinions. Compared to many parts of medieval Europe, this system was remarkably advanced. Religion shaped every aspect of daily life. The Vikings believed in powerful gods who controlled nature itself. Odin represented wisdom and war. Thor protected both gods and humans with his mighty hammer. Frey governed peace and fertile harvests. And every storm, every successful hunt, and every victory in battle was believed to carry the influence of these divine beings. The Vikings also believed that dying bravely in battle could earn a place in Valhalla, a magnificent hall where fallen warriors would prepare for the final battle at the end of the world. But despite what many believe today, not every Viking dreamed of war. Most never became famous warriors. Most spent their lives farming, trading, raising children, and caring for their communities. So what changed? Why did these ordinary people suddenly begin sailing across unknown seas? The answer lies in one remarkable invention: their ships. Chapter 2: The Raid That Changed History. The Viking longship was unlike anything Europe had ever seen. Built from oak using generations of accumulated knowledge, these elegant vessels were fast, flexible, and astonishingly strong. Their shallow hulls allowed them to travel not only across rough seas, but also deep inland through rivers, where larger ships could never go. Powered by both sails and oars, Viking ships gave their crews unmatched speed and freedom. They could appear without warning, strike quickly, and disappear before defenders could organize a response. Around the year 793, one of these ships approached the small island monastery of Lindisfarne, off the northeastern coast of England. The monks had no idea that history was about to change. For generations, the monastery had been a place of prayer, learning, and peace. Valuable religious objects, crafted from gold and silver, filled its halls, yet almost no defenses protected them. The Vikings saw opportunity. They landed swiftly and launched a devastating attack. Sacred treasures were carried away, buildings were destroyed, many monks were killed, while others were taken captive. News of the assault spread rapidly across Europe. To Christian kingdoms, it seemed as though warriors had emerged from nowhere. Writers described the attack as divine punishment and a sign that the end of the world might be near. Today, historians recognize the raid on Lindisfarne as the symbolic beginning of the Viking Age. Yet for the Vikings themselves, this was only the beginning. What started as seasonal raids would soon become something far greater. They would establish settlements across Britain, sail into the heart of France, travel the rivers of Eastern Europe, reach Constantinople, cross the North Atlantic, and eventually stand on the shores of North America, centuries before most Europeans even imagined such a land existed. The age of the Vikings had begun, and the world would never be the same again. Conclusion: the story of the Vikings is far greater than the legends that surround them. They were not simply ruthless raiders who appeared from the sea without warning. They were explorers who crossed unknown oceans, merchants who connected distant civilizations, craftsmen who built some of the finest ships of their time, and ordinary people who adapted to one of the harshest environments on Earth. Their courage carried them farther than anyone thought possible. Their ships reached lands that most Europeans would not see for centuries. Their culture influenced kingdoms, languages, laws, and traditions that still exist today. Although the Viking Age eventually came to an end, the spirit of exploration and determination that defined these remarkable people never truly disappeared. More than 1,000 years later, the name Viking still captures our imagination. It reminds us that history is not only about wars and kings, but about the people who dared to sail beyond the edge of the known world. And perhaps that is the greatest Viking legacy of all. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into history, don't forget to subscribe to History Unfolded. Because every civilization has a beginning, every empire has a fall, and every legend has a story waiting to be unfolded.